So guys, I'm going to explain how this moderation impact works here. First of all, we have got the basic two variables: H expenditure, that is the health expenditure, and FDI. These two variables, the FDI is dependent variable and health expenditure is independent variable, or it's the X variable and FDI is the Y variable. These two variables are directly associated or positively associated. That means that with increase in one, the other one also increases. So with increase in the health expenditure, if a government in a country increases the health expenditure, the FDI into that country will also increase. So that means that it is a positively associated. Now this variable, which is the moderator, is the M expenditure, that is the military expenditure in that country. So how does the military expenditure moderates the relationship between health expenditure and inward FDI? Is in this moderation analysis we observe that the military expenditure negatively moderates the relationship between H expenditure and FDI. That means that if you increase the military expenditure in a country, the positive effect of the health expenditure on FDI reduces. That with increase in health expenditure, you will have a little impact on the inward FDI if you increase the military expenditure. You can observe this. So here you can see from this conditional effect, when the military expenditure is less, the effect size is more. But within that, from this graph also you can see that the moderator has been distributed into three levels. In minus one standard deviation are those countries which expend or spend least in the military, and then at mean are at the middle, and 0.22 is at plus one standard deviation, and these are the countries which spend more on their militaries. So all these type of countries have been plotted here in the graph with three lines. So that means that the countries which spend more, they attract less FDI comparatively, you can see, right? With the little health expenditure, the countries which spend more into the military, they attract less FDI. And here also, when they spend at this level, maybe at 1.5 of health expenditure, or you can say 15 health expenditure, at 15 health expenditure, the FDI in the countries which spend more on the military, they get just, you can see here, between 2 and 2.5, that is around 2.3. They get 2.3 FDI, whereas with the same kind of health expenditure, the countries which spend less in the military, they get almost 3.5. So the military expenditure is negatively moderating. That means that if you increase the military expenditure, the impact of health expenditure on inward FDI is reduced, right? So you get a little FDI in your country if your military expenditure is more, as compared to if your military expenditure is less, then with a little health expenditure, you can get a more inward FDI into the country. and this relationship can also be explained with this intercept line. The steep intercept line shows that the relationship is strong. With a little increase in health expenditure, the more FDI can come into the country, or vice versa, right? So this is the moderation result which we have obtained from this Andrew Hayes process macros. Thank you very much for